Hello everyone. Today is Saturday, January 3rd, 2026 at 10:42 a.m. in the morning. I got the date right. Um so excuse me for yawning. Sorry y'all. Excuse me. So I think I went to bed at like either 11 o'clock, 11:30 or midnight last night. Whenever it was after I got done that video, and then I went to bed. No, it was after midnight. It was after midnight. Um so I I'm glad I was able to sleep good last night. And this morning, um I had breakfast was really good, and I'm glad that I was able to have what I wanted. Yeah. So um for tonight, I'm using like almost excuse me, it was very discounted, almost free um night here. And they took out a deposit today for tonight, but for yesterday they didn't take out deposit, but they took out the deposit today. And the deposit from the previous days that went back on my card or whatever. So um I have enough funds to eat tonight for dinner. And like tomorrow, I don't know when I'll get the deposit back. Sometimes certain hotels or certain times. Sometimes one hotel might give you your deposit back almost immediately. Sometimes they might give it back to you within an hour. Sometimes they might not give it back to you until like the next morning. Or sometimes you have to wait the whole 3 days to finally get the deposit back. You know, so but so my funds have now I'm like almost completely out of funds now, and I wish I could have help with more hotel nights. So I mean, but like I'm trying to give myself some grace. Like people try to tell me to give myself some grace with certain things and not to be so hard on myself. And they tell me to give other people some grace. You know, so I mean, excuse me. So as I said, it's challenging trying to get a job as a homeless person when you know when they have employers that want you to dress a certain way, and you're not allowed to have any bags to bring to work or to an interview, or we have to look a certain way. um you have to look or dress a certain way. Excuse me. So not with every job, but a lot of jobs, you know. So I mean, I don't know what I could do or where I could go. And guess what? With the with that Waffle House job, they probably would have declined me employment anyway because of the fake criminal charges that I'm dealing with from being illegally swatted and lied on. You know, but at least I did my part and tried, made attempts. You know, excuse me. They don't. It's like these employers. They don't even want homeless people working or working for them. They don't want us with a job, or they don't. Like as I said, there was a job. I mean, a place in somewhat downtown Pensacola. Um, I can't remember the name of it. It was some kind of crab place or seafood place that was somewhat downtown Pensacola, and the man told me straight up over the phone that he does not hire homeless people, and said that homeless people are trouble. And so, homeless people trying to work and trying to get a job, it's like you might be working a job or even two jobs, but still struggling homelessness. They don't want to give you a higher paying job to get you out of your predicament, excuse me, and get stabilized. Excuse me. And so, like, when I was working at Seville Quarter in Pensacola, Florida, I was sleeping on the streets most nights. And I was sleeping on the streets most nights. And when I would go to work, the manager, owner, or whatever was always, yelling and upset about us having bags, bringing our bags to work. Even men had, like, homeless men, had a backpack, and then, okay, and then he didn't want us to work overtime. So, he would have a fake conniption meltdown if we excuse me. And he was a highly abusive, narcissistic fake perp as well. That fake Doug Mitchell guy from Seville Quarter in Pensacola. He was abusive, narcissistic, hard, and mean. And he used to perp me with the food, and be very mean and abusive. And they had that Travis guy that was rude and abusive towards me, but he would treat the guys like royalty. So but whatever Travis was going through, he would dump all his anger and everything on me, but not the guys that were working. But even I was the only female janitor working, and they had a few guys, and some of them were homeless. And and Mr. Doug used to always yell at us for having our bags or whatever, you know. And certain other jobs, you know, excuse me, they don't they don't want you to go to work with the they don't want you to go to work with the backpack. And if you do go to work, it has to be a small clear purse, a small clear see-through purse. A small, clear, see-through purse. But I have everything I own that I have to carry around, and I have never been like this, like until 2023. Before that, I always had a storage unit and lots more physical possessions. You know, and now that I'm homeless, I mean, certain other times I was able to get a storage unit or a mailbox before I ended up becoming homeless, when I knew I was going to become homeless and I still had a place to live in, a permanent address, and I knew I was becoming homeless because at the time I didn't realize it was targeting related, you know. But now at the moment, I can't even get a storage unit. And I would hear narcissistic lectures throughout the years about how storage unit is a waste of money, you know. Excuse me. I was even have to be forced to get rid of important papers, documentation, and valuables. You know, medical documentation that did show proof of my Tourette's. Documented medical papers showing proof that I do suffer Tourette's. So, and other like I even had documentation that I was at risk for pervasive developmental disorder, but then they ruled it out, and then they said when I was a child that I had symptoms of autism, pretty much, you know, that that I'm considered on a spectrum, you know, because I heard that pervasive developmental disorder, NOS, I heard that that is like on the autism spectrum. Excuse me. And they even said that in early childhood that I did have some symptoms of OCD as well. Of course, I didn't know or remember that, you know. But a lot of those medical papers show similarities of certain people who went through MK Ultra, the MK Ultra mind control and experimentation. You know, so yeah, but yeah, I mean, weird stuff was happening to me growing up, you know, and they falsely painted us as bad kids. And dealing with people that's involved in witchcraft, the occult, voodoo, and whatever else. Excuse me, you know. But I don't remember being molested. But a lot of they have people who swear up and down that I have been. And they laugh and say, haha, you're not gonna remember it. Because they say that whatever abuse, even if it's not molestation, that your mind builds up amnesia walls to forget what abuse you went through, to protect your mind or whatever. Um, to protect your mind from remembering, you know, what abuses you might have gone through. Excuse me. But you know, people have talked about me and my twin sister both being MK Ultra experiments, how they experiment on twins, and they said that the MK Ultra experiment was to turn one twin into a target and the other twin perp. and they succeeded. You know, they wanted to test to see which twin would cave in. That sounds very sick. And of course, they had us in that fake cult growing up. You know, but the cult people, they swear up and down that they're so normal and they can be successful and run their own businesses and everything. You know, they have a lot of people in the fake IDMR cult that, like, throughout the years have been successful business owners. You know, but then they use their fake business as a front to try to lure people to join the cult. You know, excuse me, lure in more new recruits. You know, so yeah. But anyway, um, so well, I mean, I don't have a plan, but I had a thought or an idea of, what I was trying to talk about last night. I don't know if I'll successfully pursue it or not, but, you know, they have with the trains, this pass that's $4.99, and I don't know if it's $4.99 plus tax or if it's a flat fee of $4.99, and you could ride the train for 30 days, and they said 10 segments, which means like 10 trips or whatever. And I thought that, well, I'm wondering if I could do that for the month of February, to get off the streets and out of the cold. But the thing is, I would be worried about, me being afraid that I wouldn't have the money for food, toiletries, or a place to take a shower. you know. But I mean, I could have some, like, it could get me off the streets and out of the cold, and I could see other areas of the country and like beautiful areas of the country, and that could be some good, you know, YouTube content, something that what people want to call positive. But of course, the perps would mess it up by trying to do whatever to make me miserable and not enjoy myself. But I couldn't see myself doing that for a lifetime. I thought that maybe just 1 month to be out of the cold, you know, if I would do it, and, just for 1 month to be out of the cold. But I'm not saying I'm going to do it, and it's not a promise, but it was just like a thought or an idea, and I don't even know if it would successfully work out or not. After paying for the pass plus paying for my phone bill, um, you know, and they say you could go to like over 500 destinations. But, even if I go to different cities and states, for me to be like bullied by other homeless people and kicked out of shelters and stuff, you know, or for me to try to go take into a shelter in a different city and state, and they lie and say that they don't have any beds available, or if the shelters really are full. Excuse me. And then I don't know what city or state would tolerate for you to be homeless and sitting at the park downtown, or if certain downtown locations allow it to be legal, or if they have a problem with it and say it's not allowed. You know, if I get wrongfully kicked out of and banned from a shelter within less than 2 hours, and then the only resort is to go downtown and sit outside by the downtown whatever, and sometimes if they might have perps that threaten to kill you, or police officers that threaten to throw you in jail, you know. And I'm like, well, the only shelter for single women in this town, if it be either a scenario where excuse me, where they straight up lie to me and say that they don't have any beds available, or if they do let me in, they I get bullied out of the shelter and they make me feel unsafe and running for my life. And if I be like on the verge of getting jumped by the staff and the residents, or that I have to deal with just such filth and gross and just disgusting. And the shelters aren't free. They try to take all your money. You're paying to live in prison. It's another form of human trafficking. Excuse me. And the shelters be run by criminals and criminals and drug dealers that try to put on a fake religious front and operate the shelters like a cult. And then they be on drugs themselves or alcoholic, and then lie and say that they're clean from drugs, the staff and the residents. And excuse me, it's not safe in the shelters, excuse me. And I mean, if the shelters are cults and I'm trying to stay away from cults, what am I supposed to do? But yeah, I mean, as I said, if people might see me on the train and be like, "Oh, look, she on the train, she got money or whatever." But no, if I'm used all the money that I had for that rail pass, and that's all I had, but only a couple of extra $100 left over, and I'm wondering, well, how would I be able to eat, you know, excuse me, because to get a decent meal on the train, being like, to have something decent to eat and fit enough to fill you up. Like for one item might be $8, and then you might, and that one item don't fill you up, so you get something else, and then you get a drink, and then that adds up to like almost $20. And it's like all they do is on a Amtrak train, so like they just microwave your food. They just put your food in the microwave, you know. So like, yeah, I mean, but I mean, I said that I would do that in February if um they dropped the fake criminal charges against me for the January 21st court date. You know, excuse me. And I heard that a lot of and even in my own experiences with the train, the train Wi-Fi isn't that strong, and sometimes my own phone data will go out of service temporarily, depending on where we are, But I guess you can go to the store beforehand, like I did, and bring your own food, snacks, or whatever. um, to get you through a couple of days. But, I didn't feel comfortable with the bathrooms on the train, and I didn't feel comfortable with, like, when you get on and off the train, they have the stairs, the steps or whatever. But I hate that, with my OCD, everything is like to enter in and on and off the train. It's like, it's narrow, like narrow. It's not that wide to go up and down the stairs on the train, getting on and off the train, you know. But I'm glad that the train is spacious, unlike the Greyhound bus and the airplane, and you can see beautiful scenery. You can see pretty scenery and stuff. Um, excuse me. And at least like the train staff, a lot of them seem like very nice people, and they're very helpful with helping you on and off the train. That's and yeah. So I've been like researching it, like since yesterday. I've been researching and looking up and trying to see, if I could do that for February. So I mean, as I said, I paid two partial payments towards, from the May 9th arrest from last year, from being illegally swatted and lied on, and forced to have to pay fines and fees for crimes I did not commit. And I was looking for something on YouTube, and then I came across that Cindy 5 days ago. Cindy had made fake slanderous videos, with right along with the other perps, with lying and talking about, here's proof of Candy flashing devil horns. But I bet you they flash devil horns all day. But I said that I was just demonstrating for people who don't know what devil horns is. I did it to demonstrate this is what it looks like when the perps do it to me. When they flash the devil horns or satanic 666 hand sign or whatever other satanic signs, I do it to demonstrate this is what the sign looks like. But I don't casually be flashing satanic hand signs or posing in pictures to be cool like I've seen a lot of the perps, including my twin sister, do. But I don't do it often, but I have done it before to demonstrate that when I go to restaurants or whatever, and even hotels, and they have, people like flashing the devil horns in front of my face and try to force me to see it, and they do it unnecessarily, or if they want to point that over there, then they flash the devil horns. So then when I do a YouTube video talking about it, that I had an encounter with this, say for example, I had an encounter with this I don't know. I could say, well, I went to this new church today and tried to be this new member, and there was an usher at the church that he pointed to the bathrooms, and when he pointed to the bathrooms, he didn't point with just his index finger. He pointed with the flash the devil horns. And if I demonstrate this is how he did it, then the stalkers would screenshot me demonstrating and then use that to smear campaign and lie and be like, see, Candy's part of the evil cult and she's flashing devil horns, and that's not even the case. And they think that they're being funny, and it's obvious that the fake red triangle cult on YouTube or whatever, and whoever's part of this dumbass cult, that they're mad that I'm not part of them, so they want to delusionally fantasize in their head that I am part of them. Or they lie and say that they're the good ones and the righteous ones, and that I'm the one that's part of the evil cult, or that I'm my own cult leader, and that my supporters are part of my cult, when I have no cults and I have hardly any supporters. Very small amount of supporters. If I was part of the evil team, they wouldn't still be making videos and attacking me. If I would have sold out, I bet you Sydney would cease doing videos and probably delete that whole fake Sydney channel. It's like they're attacking me and doing all this to me in hopes that I would cave in and be evil like them. How do you have over 99% of, like, you might have like 960 videos dedicated to just attacking me, and I'm not even responding or going on your page or nothing? You know, but it's like, excuse me, and Cindy's videos sound like a narcissistic abuser. Cindy, are you freaking like, do you have a damn crush on me or something? Like, what the hell is wrong? Because your ass, like, back in 2021, you were trying to sex traffic me to Oklahoma by you and try to pull another Patricia Jerome. And the videos on your Cynthia Burns channel, they don't even have any concrete or definite, defined footage of you actually being gang stalked. You never show your face in your videos, and all you do is like walk. She used to walk around the yard in circles and telling fabricated, fake, lying stories about herself being targeted. Yeah, she would just walk around. She would just walk around the backyard in circles with that camera without showing her face. And then Planet Pat used to attack her and call her a fake or whatever. And she would say, Planet Pat, stop, this isn't funny. And she would say, I don't see how anybody could fake this. Saying that she didn't understand how anybody could fake this. Well, she damn sure was faking it. How the hell did you become a perp so fast? And it could have been either her or a narc-ass phony Anthony. Either one of those two gave fake Damnesia or the stalking cult my phone number and had fake Damnesia harassing me to the point where I was forced to have to give up my 504 number and be forced to still to this day have a different phone number. Excuse me. And it was a hard wrestle to change everything. Change around so much. But having to change my phone number, and I had to change so many accounts and change this and change that. And it was a massive headache to have to do that. You know. So that was her harassing me about my mouth and my teeth. In 2021. Because she was supportive and nice and talked like a targeted individual. And me and her had like a couple or a few phone conversations, and she was saying that the phone calls kept being intercepted by perps and stuff. Excuse me. And then next thing you know, she got into some kind of car accident and then disappeared for a while and then resurfaced as a flat out gang stalker now. And now she acts like as if she never, ever, ever, ever been targeted. Now she does not even talk about being targeted anymore. She doesn't even talk about herself being gang stalked anymore. She completely and totally sold out and is dedicated to the cult. And I'm pretty sure she's flashing devil horns, talking to people in person. So, I mean, as I said, if I don't even flash satanic hand signs in my videos. And I just demonstrate what the perps did to me in case people be like, well, what is the devil horns or what is 666 hand sign? What does that look like? And I show y'all what it looks like for demonstration. But as I said, I don't do it to pledge allegiance to the cult or anything. That's not my purpose. And they alter my pictures to look, alter my pictures and videos, and make fake AI pictures and videos to make me either look goofy or satanic, or they make sexual perverse pictures and videos and stuff. Like fake Damnesia took a regular picture of me just looking into the camera, or a picture of me smiling, and he will alter the picture to make me look like cross-eyed with my tongue sticking out, or somehow make it like as if my eyes are swirling back and forth or whatever, or swirling around in circles. I don't, or he would make it like as if my tongue is reptilian and sticking out or whatever, and I've seen the fake AI pictures and videos where they fake use my voice to say stuff that I never said in a real video. But they some kind of way clone my voice or use my voice to make things look and appear that in ways that never had happened in real life. And then they go use that for their fake smear campaigns and mocking and making fun, ha ha ha, or whatever. And that happened with certain other people in the so-called TI community, like that Darius guy. Was nice and normal and supportive, and then got hit by a car. I supported him as best as I could, from out of state, and helped him recover from his injuries or whatever. And then he was talking about working on a lawsuit. Then he just started to change, and then started to be severely narcissistic and abusive to the point where he caused me to be damn near suicidal. At that time, and then another person had said that he seemed perpish or whatever, or abusive and controlling and stuff, and he swooped in right when I said I'm done with the TI community. I'm not reaching out for help anymore or whatever. And it seemed like, wow, it seemed like almost everybody's so damn fake. And then he swooped in at the last minute when I was about to just give up on everything and pretended to be a fake savior. And 8 years younger than me, and think he got fake authority over me. And he lied about being part of the fake Black Hebrew Israelites cult. And then they had another person named Gina that was illegally fake driving around in a red car and claimed she was targeted, and then she got hit by, or she got into a car accident or whatever. And like how you, and then there was another person in the TI community, they drive around in red cars. They say that they're targeted, but the car that they drive is red, and ain't nobody gonna call them a perp. And then you know, they get into a car crash, and then next thing you know, they start to, after their car crash or whatever, they change, and then they start gang stalking me and start bullying and being like very abusive and controlling, and narcissistic. But if they weren't like that before the car accident, and narc-ass phony Anthony supposedly had such a car accident or whatever too. But he was always narcissistic and bossy and younger than me. And then next thing you know, he got into some car accident. And then now he's like a full-fledged perp now. But perps are always trying to hit me and trying to run over me with their cars and becoming so close. So close. With attempted murder, with trying to hit me with their cars. And a lot of times they catch me when I'm not filming and recording, or when I'm unable to film and record. If I'm trying to ration my phone battery, or if my phone battery is too low or whatever, or for some other reason why, if I can't film and record at the moment, or if it's raining and I'm trying to, protect my phone from being damaged, that's when they take advantage of trying to hit and run me over. I even have videos of them trying to hit and run me over. And I hate when I'm going through a certain similar experience with someone in the TI community. And like Darius lied and said that I was perping him. That I had a similar experience, that I almost got hit by a car a few days before he actually did get hit by a car. And then he lied and said that I was perping him with my experience, when I actually targeted, and this shit happens to me all the time. But he was living with his mom. I'm actually like homeless. And then when I documented and exposed him being abusive, then he was quick to link up with the cult that perps or harasses me. And he had been doing stuff like abusing and gaslighting. But I have had no contact with him for like 3.5 years now. Ever since July of 2022, that was the last time I had any contact with him. But he would act like he had got the fake authority. 8 years younger than me, and that act like he got the authority to forbid me to talk about trauma and abuse and targeting, while he encouraging and allow everybody else to do so. Excuse me. And I even have a few blog posts about, exposing how fake how fake and abusive he had been towards me. So, but all these narcissistic control freak fake TI perps that do perp stuff towards me or narcissistically abuse me, and then they reverse it on me and lie and say that I'm a perp, or that I perp them, or I'm the one being suspicious, when I'm getting compensated by nobody. I never got paid to perp anyone. I never been initiated. And I never perped anyone. If I perped people, I wouldn't have to ask for help for funds for food to eat and stuff. Y'all wouldn't still see me being slandered and attacked if I would have sold out and started perping. If I was the one perping, you wouldn't see them attacking and spreading lies about me. But Darius had sold out, and kind of find out he was giving me hints that he was a Mason and stuff like that, and then try to lie about it. Excuse me. And then they lie and say that even the regular perps, they lie and say that I'm the perp and that I'm the Eastern Star. And even that Paul Tucson guy, that he flaunts off red shirts and everything like that. But he lied to the TI community saying that I was perping him because of the earbuds that I had. That was the only one I was able to get. And it had hardly any red. And it's like everybody tried to cancel me. And he was threatening me with brass knuckles and everything. Bullying me. And he claims to be from New Orleans, but he has a freaking country Mississippi accent. Excuse me. And then he had someone associated with him that was like, oh, Candy, your change.org petition showed up in my email. So you a perp. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I didn't email you that. So, like, I don't even know. It's like, the stalkers bragged about ruining my reputation in the TI community and causing and spreading a lot of lies, false rumors, and smear campaigns that even people that profess to be Christian and targeted want nothing to do with me and stuff. But then they got people that say that they're Christian and targeted, but they got a lot of new age and occultic beliefs and stuff. Like talking about stuff that's like people being low vibrational. That's new age talk. Or they got 777 in their username, which is new age. And you got 777 in your username, but you claim you're speaking against new age. You're a new ager pretending to be Christian and targeted, and then you perp and abuse behind closed doors, and then you got all the narc tactics of projection, deflection, gaslighting, and all that. And while you lie and say that I'm the narcissist or the psychopath or the sociopath or the dark triad or the dark tetrad or whatever, and they try to falsely portray me to be as evil as possible. If they're the ones stalking and harassing me and perping and playing games and spreading lies, false rumors, and smear campaigns, and then they lie and say that I'm the narcissist that's obsessed and stalking and spreading rumors about them. And then people say, oh, just ignore the false rumors. The truth will come out later and stuff like that. But I'm being hurt and damaged and being hindered from a lot of things because of so many lies being spread about me. They got a lot of, like, that fake-ass gang stalking simulation. Stephen O'Neill and a lot of others, Ronald Soriano, they pretend to be targeted and handpick what people in the targeted individuals community to support. And then other people in the TI community, they handpick who to bully and who to support in the TI community. As I said, in the first place, a lot of even people profess targeted individuals like Paul Tucson, a lot of them, if I had never did them anything, they just start randomly one day picking on me and harassing and bullying me and threatening me for no reason at all. And it's mainly men. But some women too, like Cindy. But Cindy got like reprogrammed or re-educated or mind controlled, to do what she's doing. And as I said, I don't even go on her page every day, or I don't even stalk her every day, not even every week, not even every month. I be trying to avoid the cult. And they have people that profess to be targeted that's looking for a way out and looking for what they think is some relief, that thinking that selling out to the, they give up on God and they sell out to the devil. Excuse me. And they give up on God and sell out to the devil and think that that's going to relieve their targeting. And then sometimes you see they being both targeted and perp, but they be counterfeit. And certain people say a lot of times it be street theater. You know, with them pretending to be perps, pretending to be targeted, and it's just street theater, and make the target believe that they're a fellow TI, and then if that target reach out to them, and then they end up hurting you, you know. And it's like, even professed targeted individuals, you'd be amazed how quick they sell out, enjoying the slander and hate against you. If Anthony and Darius both have told me that being targeted, that they have been falsely accused of being pedophiles too. So why do they believe the smear campaign against me if they say the smears have happened to them and it affected them and it hurt them and they were upset about family members trying to set them up? You know? Excuse me. Yeah. But yeah, it's like everybody's trying to you know, smear me so desperately and so hard to try to make me look bad. And I didn't even do Cindy anything to deserve for her to be endlessly attacking and bullying me and stalking me like this. You know, I mean, because she, like, for that hurricane in 2021, I don't remember what the name, what the bad female name hurricane that was. Hurricane Ida or something like that. She made false promises to donate and help me out. She never sent me anything twice. And then later on, after a couple of weeks, she acted like she was trying to offer me to come stay in Oklahoma by her over there. And you know, and then after a couple of months later, she would be harassing me about my teeth. I mean, the abscessed tooth. And she would constantly send me like harassing text messages through the phone. And then when I would confront her about it, and she would use fake, just like Anthony and fake Damnation and a lot of other stalkers, use fake text now numbers. And then when I would confront her about it, she would lie and say perps hacked her phone. She would lie and say that the perps hacked her phone. But my first encounter with dealing with Cynthia Burns, Cynthia Perkins, because she also goes by Cynthia Perkins, was September 2021. August or September 2021. I didn't know her in 2020. I didn't know her in 2019. You know. But then even talking to certain professed targeted individuals on the phone or through other communication, if I confront them about being abusive and acting perp-like, they'll say, oh, it's not me perping. Oh, it's my brain is being hacked. Or, oh, my phone is hacked. My this is hacked. That's hacked. Or it's the MK Ultra in me. Or they're like, that's my MK Ultra. Don't pay it no mind. Or something like that, you know. But when people in the TI community sell out, I be the first and the main one that they come and start to attack once they sell out and become a perp. And then they start to be elevate and be more popular in the so-called TI community. And falsely recognized, it's like the popular fakes being falsely recognized as real TIs. While they huddle together and bully me and treat me in the same way you do with like workplace mobbing or community mobbing, or they huddle together and go against you and spread a lot of false rumors about you. Like people got mad at me for saying that what's that man's name? I can't think of it at the moment. But I think he's a British guy, and older man. I can't remember his name. It's at the back of my head, tip of my tongue. And he was part of a Masonic organization. I can't believe I know his name, but it slipped my mind at the moment. But he was part of either like a Rotary Club or some other kind of Masonic organization. And he was one of the popular fakes. You know, he used to be supportive of me back in 2020, but like in 2021, he showed himself as fake. I bet you his name might come to my mind immediately after I get off the video. But, you know, they have people online that condemn me. They have a car and they have a house. And they condemn me and yell at me and say, stop begging. And I go look on their profile and they have CashApp in their bio. Or, you know, or they have a GoFundMe link in their bio. And they say, stop begging and go get a job. Well, even when I was housed in 2017, nobody wanted to give me a job anywhere. And the cab driving job was a gang stalking setup that I was forced to have to quit within a few days. And when you're targeted, trying to have a job and stuff, it seemed like as if you end up spending more money than you earn or wasting more money than you earn, but because of gang stalking setups, that you're forced to end up wasting more money than you earn or spending more money than you earn. You know, yeah. So for the stalkers to lie on me and say I'm in 5-star hotels, not all, I mean, I don't think I ever got to stay in a 5-star hotel, but only recently I got to stay in a 4-star hotel, and that was on sale for Thanksgiving holidays, you know, and that was the only time. But they got me wrongfully banned from the cheap motels and extended stays and stuff. So, you know, I mean, so I guess I've been having to stay in like, and a lot of the 2-star hotels I can't even go to. So sometimes I've been staying in like, being lucky if I could get into a 2-star hotel, but 2 or 3-star hotel, you know. But I never got to stay at a Hilton or, you know, excuse me, never got to stay at, I mean, well, being homeless, I never got to stay in Holiday Inn or nothing like that. But when I was in foster care, the fake foster mom, you know, in the fake IDMR cult conventions, you know, and when I was in high school, going on those ROTC trips, we might have stayed at like a Holiday Inn Express, you know. but or certain trips in school when I was a kid or whatever. But being a homeless adult, I tried a couple of times. I applied, and I didn't have any so-called criminal record or anything. So the Holiday Inn in downtown Pensacola, Florida, I applied for their job at least twice, and they never hired me, and I never stayed there, as I never was a guest there. It cost like 300 something per night to stay down there, stay over there, you know. But a couple of times when I had my job, I had stayed, I mean, you know, in a 3-star hotel a couple of times in Pensacola when I had a job, because the reason why, it was hurricanes and all the cheaper hotels were booked up, so I had no choice but to get that for like a night or two, you know. Excuse me. But I try to go to the cheapest where I could afford, that's, you know, the cheapest that I could afford, where I'm not wrongfully banned from. And I was told to stay away from out in the east because of the prostitution, drugs, and murder. And and also so I try to stay where it's safe, and then I don't be using, certain, like a lot of third party apps. It's a problem when you try to book the hotel or whatever. So one time I went to a Red Roof Inn in Pensacola on North Davis Highway, and that abusive, narcissistic, light-skinned man called me stupid and said I was wasting my money for booking with a third party. And he said, "You're wasting your money. No, why don't you book direct? Book with us. Book direct and book with us." And when I try to, I don't even use something Hopper. I don't remember. Is it Hopper app or whatever? Something Hopper app. That I don't even use that. I mean, I haven't even used that in a while. you know. But I try to use that or another app when I was in Sharonville, part of Cincinnati, Ohio, at the Super 8, the Indian run hotels, Indian from India, not Native American. And they try to screw me over and charge me double and then get an attitude. And it happened at a Super 8 in Pensacola as well. But I'm wrongfully banned from supposedly all Wyndham hotels now. But that lady at that La Quinta on Veterans and Metairie, she said I'm banned from all Wyndham hotels. But as I said, a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, I called the Wyndham hotline or the corporate office, and the man on the phone told me that it varies from hotel to hotel. That I'm not banned from all Wyndham hotels, but I guess if they're a franchise and not part of the corporate, I'm not banned from those. Cause certain Wyndham hotels I call and ask, am I banned from on a do not rent list? They say yes, and others they say no. All because the stalkers took old videos and lied on me, because they didn't want me to have a hotel room for the court date, that from they illegally swatting me. Excuse me. So they want to cause more trouble. So what make y'all think it's far-fetched that I said that the stalkers sent those perps to come pull a gun out on me and kill me because they were mad that I took a trip out of town with the YouTube AdSense money, and I didn't even have any fun. I just was getting a different scenery and a quick getaway for a little bit, if I was laying in bed with tooth pain, you know. And speaking of that, someone this morning, when I made a comment on a video yesterday or the day before, and someone said this morning that all my teeth pain hurting on one side, that that's really not tooth pain, but it's a sinus infection or sinusitis or something. And I said, well, it could be, you know. And I Google search and they said sinusitis infection, you know, has something to do with tooth pain or whatever. But even after the antibiotics, after being done with the antibiotics, I still had to suffer tooth pain. But I suffered tooth pain for like 30 minutes to an hour before dinner yesterday, and then the pain went away. But so far today, I have not really felt any pain. And I did not know that a sinus infection could cause tooth pain, you know, but they say if it's a tooth problem, if it's just one of your teeth hurting, it's the dental problem. But they say if it's your whole side, right side of your mouth hurting or the whole left side, it's a sinus infection, you know. But I don't know if after some time, if my mouth just might feel normal and no more pain, you know. Well, it feels just as bad as a regular toothache, you know. But the whole, I mean, I don't know if it could have been a sinus infection or if it could have been directed energy weapons or if it could be tooth infection, tooth pain, whatever, you know. But I heard that the directed energy weapons can manufacture and cause all that. Like they have people in the TI community that say that, you know, that the directed energy weapons could cause or mimic any illness. And that if you take medication, you're just taking medicine for nothing, pretty much, especially if it's the weapons or whatever, you know. But like, well, it's been pretty much a week, almost a whole week since I have got done with the antibiotics and, you know, still feeling pain. You know, it doesn't feel like it killed the infection, but I know that pharmaceuticals really don't help anyway, and it's just a band-aid or a mask or whatever, you know. But for the past, like, I don't think 3 whole months, but at least 2 months, I've been feeling not at this very second. Let me see. Yeah, I've been feeling numbness in my right leg, on my thigh, my lap. The right side of my right thigh. I've been feeling like a lot of the times it will feel numb, especially when I'm walking to the library in the morning or walking downtown at night. Um, you know, I don't know what's the cause of the pain or what the pain is or whatever, you know. But yeah, so it's like the stalking cult, they want me to be part of their cult so bad that, you know, they lie and say that I am part of the evil cult. But if I was part of their cult, why they still harassing me? Why they still stalking and attacking me? Why do they still send people to do stuff to me? You know. And then when I document that I'm being harassed, they reverse it on me and they lie and say I'm the one stalking and harassing, you know. But yeah, anyway. Um I don't know, I was able to get the I was able to get the I was able to get the I hear somebody screaming outside. but I was able to get the short 5 more short stories printed out, but I don't know when I'll get the opportunity to have a session where I could read them out loud. But I hate that tomorrow I'm scheduled to have to pack up and be back out on the streets and deal with the being homeless and being targeted. Excuse me, dealing with the targeting and being out on the streets and stuff. Um and my yesterday I tried to open the Himalayan pink salt canister, and I broke my nails were already long, but I broke my nails, so now I have no choice but to get them cut. And they're too long for me to type, so I definitely need to trim my nails. But I've been like too depressed and weak, and you know, I need to trim my nails, and my brain has not been like clear enough for me to work on any writing. As I said, like I was days of sleep deprived, and then Monday, like I was 4 or 5 nights sleep deprived. Then Monday, I finally got a hotel out of that extreme cold. Then Tuesday, I got the Social Security check, and still recovering. And then Wednesday, I ended up with the diarrhea, and Thursday, still recovering, and then yesterday was just resting. But I mean, at least I did my laundry last night. And I hate with my OCD. I still wonder. Feel like I'm afraid that, like, having unwanted intrusive thoughts that my clothes are still dirty, even though they're clean. But I wish I could have helped with more hotel nights. I mean, so I thought about, if they drop the fake criminal charges against me for January 21st, if they drop the charges and I go free, for February, I would like to, take a train trip across the country or whatever, well, 10 different destinations, and just train riding to stay out of the cold and off the streets. And I thought that maybe I could utilize that time to work more on writing. I could work more on writing and then create train riding content for like a month. But I don't want to do it for a lifetime or for the rest of my life. But if I'm still having tooth pain, I don't think it will work out. But yeah, I mean, if I could be riding the train and be out of the cold, and working on novels, short stories, or whatever, or come to certain destinations and do sightseeing and filming and recording a nice beautiful waterfall or a forest or whitewater rafting or this or that. But as I said, the thing is, I'm scared of, if I don't have the money to eat, or don't have a way I could take a shower or nothing, or if I try to take into a shelter and be rejected or attacked, but I don't know. But so I got my clothes washed last night, and I'm just gonna rest another day today. I would like to work on some more writing, if it be another short story, or if I work on the oral short stories, I want y'all to be able to see my face clearly, so I might have to wait till another time to do another oral short story, maybe at the library or something. But for the written stuff, maybe I could do another written short story, or work on the novel, the freestyle novel, not the one that I talked about in the community post last night. So I love y'all. I'm gonna get off here. They're trying to force urinate me.